Hi guys, so natay question rin no regarding solar setup. So unsa day setup nga imong kailangan if naa kay aircon nga inverter, 1 horsepower or 4 horsepower. So let's break this down into key specific factors nga to consider in deciding for our solar setup, and this will be mainly for aircon usage ha ang atong discussion, wala pay labot sa uban appliances sa balay. So this is just for aircon. So there are four main factors of consideration in deciding for what kind of solar setup do you want to build at your house. So first one is the hours of usage. So basically it refers to how many hours of usage you'll be using that aircon on a daily basis. Second is inverter size and efficiency. So unsa kadako nimo aircon o pila yang efficiency factor, because again no system are perfect. So na jud na siya specific lang a percentage of efficient siya mo operate up to an nga degree of percentage. So nga na siya. Third is battery capacity. So pila imong battery bank, pila murag bali murag unsa kadako yung battery nga imong kailangan para ana. Fourth is the panel sizing. Now, panel sizing is just basically pila ka panel imong kailangan. So nga na siya. So let's break this down and discuss them one by one. So ato sa i-clear ang ato ang board to free some space. Okay? So first one, let's discuss about the hours of usage. So typically here in the Philippines, especially during summer no init kaayo, so let's break this usage into two parts, daytime and then nighttime. So for the daytime, let's just say during summertime, ato i-consider ang pinaka peak nga time ha, or the worst case possible, so nga na siya. Daytime, let's just say you will be using your aircon starting from 12 p.m. kaya diha init naman kaayo, so need mo pero may mag-aircon. So let's just say daytime from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. and that's 6 hours of usage. During the nighttime, let's just say you'll be using it from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. So that's 12 hours. A total of 18 hours of usage. So based on this, you'll be using your aircon on an 18-hour daily basis. Second, what you'll do with this is just to get your total energy consumption within the day. You just have to multiply the 18 hours of usage by the wattage of your aircon or the power input. And in this case, we have 1 horsepower aircon. And that 1 horsepower can be converted to wattage by 736. So 1 horsepower is equivalent to 1 horsepower is equivalent to 736 watts. And let me just grab the calculator real quick. So 736 times 18. So natay 13,248 watt hour ang ihang unit. So pasabot ani if you'll be using your aircon on an 18-hour basis, you'll be using 13,248 watt hour. Now, for the inverter sizing and efficiency, inverter nowadays na siya 90% nga efficiency. So yung buhaton is you just have to divide 13,248 by 0.9, and then considering the inverter efficiency, kaya di ba ang ano mo ng concept guys, our solar panel produces DC, direct current. Ang atong appliances sa balay, they are all most of them are on AC, alternating current. So ang gi-produce sa panel nga DC, direct current, i-invert na sa atong inverter mo na yung function into AC. And no systems are perfect, so no system losses. We can't achieve 100% of it. So na siya specific percentage of conversion efficiency. And for this case, the modern inverters nowadays, around 90% na efficiency. So ato na siya i-divide, no? So ato na i-clear na itong board kaya na crowded na siya. So that's 13,248 watt hour divided by 0.90. So, kuha ito itong calculator, divided by 0.9, that's 14,720 watt hour. Watt hour. So, basically guys, considering the conversion and the losses, ideally ha, kaya na pamilain factors to consider, mao ni ang imuhang energy usage for operating your aircon on an 18-hour daily basis. So that's 14,720 watt hour, or that's if imo na i-convert to kilowatt, so that's 14,720 kilowatt hour. Now for your inverter sizing together with the efficiency, Different ang electrical loads nga typical lang di kayo bugat and motorized loads. And in this case, ang ato ang aircon, it's motorized. So bugat na siya guys. Mo surge na up to 4 times sa iyahang power input. So mo na ha, take note if motorized imong load, example aircon, pump, um, refrigerator, motorized load na siya and can have up to 4 times power input surge. So, di ba, ang ato ang aircon, 736 watts man siya. Possible siya mo surge up to 4 times given nga motorized man siya. So, imo buhaton guys, to get your inverter size, you just have to multiply your power input times 4 for considering the surge. So, that's 2,944. 2,944 watts possible mo peak na diha. So given this data, imuhang need nga inverter is around 3 kilowatt at least. Now, naman tay mga inverter na karon nga toroidal. So let's just say 1 solar. Kaya niya ang 1 horse, iyang rated capacity is 1 kilowatt nga inverter, pero pwede siya mo surge up to 3 times. So pwede nga na kay the bigger the inverter, mas mahal man siya. Pero ideally, mo na imuhang i-consider nga aircon considering the motorized load function, 3 kilowatt. Okay? So now that we have the size of our inverter and our daily hours of usage, now we have to consider the battery capacity that we'll be setting up together with our solar setup to operate our 1 horsepower inverter on an 18-hour daily basis. So, di ba based on our data earlier, natay 4,720 watt-hour of energy usage to operate our aircon, 1 horsepower aircon on an 18-hour daily basis. To get your battery capacity, starting with the concepts, no, nowadays, ang atong ginagamit na battery for solar setup is lithium iron phosphate. And, natay tawag nga DOD, or depth of discharge. So, ang depth of discharge sa lithium iron phosphate is 80%. So, sa'yo pasabot ani, up to 80% goods ra nga mag-discharge ka sa imong battery energy, up to 80%. Now, nga dili pwede 100%, dili kay maguba, mas dali maguba yung battery, mas shorten yung lifespan. So, nga na dyan na siya guys, no systems are perfect. So, you also have to consider the chemical reactions going on with lithium and then iron phosphate, basta all those cathode anodes. Electrochemical processes, nga na siya. So, in order to consider for the 80% of depth of discharge, so diba to ang usage is 14,720. What you have to do is that you just have to multiply 14,720 times 1.20. So, nga na 1.20 man. Kaya diba, ang ato ra magamit sa itong battery is 80%. So, natay 20% nga wala nagamit. So, to account for the 20% nga wala na ito nagamit, ato siyang i-add para magamit gyapon nato ang kini up to kini nga level of energy usage. So let's just grab our calculator. 14,720 times 1.2 equals 17,664. So that's 17,664 watt hour, or that is 17.664 kilowatt hour of battery capacity. Ideally, or suggested for motorized load o mga bugat na nga equipment, mas tindot yun ang 48 volt system. So, ano pasabot sa 48 volt system? Imong battery, imong solar charge controller, imong inverter, 48 volts na siya. So, mas efficient siya in a way na less heat generation. Mas gamay imuhang wire sizing, kay of course, lesser ang cost, kay mas dako man imong voltahe, so lower imong amperahe. Ano naman siya guys, balibalir na. So, mas maayog 48 volt system. So, in this case, we will consider a 48 volt system in this setup. So, ato sa i-clear yung board, no? So, that is 17,664 watt hour. In order to get our battery size, considering mag 48 volt system ta, ato na siya i-divide og 48. So let's use our calculator. 17,664 divided by 48. That's 368. 368 amp hour nga 48 volts nga battery. Pero usually di na 48 ang nakabutang 51.2 na. Pero mo niya pinaka nominal battery voltage. So yeah. So for this setup, you will need a 48 volt 368 amp hour nga battery. But of course, wa ko kakita sa market og 368. So it would be best to have na lang 2 pieces of 200. So 2 pieces of 200 amp hour 48 volt battery. So that's 400 amp hour nga battery in parallel connection. So i-parallel nimo to add up the amps. So mo ni siya guys, imong kailangan nga battery for your solar setup. Now let's head for the last step, which is the panel sizing. So in our panel sizing, atong i-consider ang atong calculated nga load, no? So based sa ato ang calculation, atong kailangan nga energy to account for everything atong na-discuss is around this one, 17,664 watt hour of energy. Now, here in the Philippines, in considering for your solar setup, imo i-consider ang hours, sun hours. Sabot ani is pila ang, let's say average man siguro. Average nga sun hours nga naa sa usa ka lugar. And in the Philippines, it's around 3.5 to 4.5 hours on average, considering the rainy season and the summer season. Pero it would be best no to consider the worst case scenario for efficiency. So in this case, akong gamiton isang 3.5. So ang lower end dito sa upper end kay basi hina ang adlaw. So need nimo mag-adjust na pod. So always consider the worst case scenario or para mas dako imong generation, energy generation. So again, ato ang buhaton is 17,664 watt hour divided by 3.5 sun hours. By the way, 3.5 atong kuha atong calculator. 17,664 divided by 3.5 sun hours. So need na to og 5,046 watt hour nga adi hours may siya pareha so makancel. So need lang na to og kanang 5,046 nga watts nga panel in total. So mag-clear sa ta kay para tumulis free some space. So that's 5,046 watts nga panel imong kailangan. So sa pasabot ani. So if imong i-charge ang imuhang, if naa kay 5,046 watts nga panel multiply by 3.5, so 3.5 sun hours, so mahatagan maka-generate ka og energy equivalent sa kato ato na previously discussed, which is 17,664. So mo na siya ang concept guys. So maka-produce ka og 17,664 watt hour of energy. And mo ni ang energy nga kailangan na to operate our aircon. So mo na siya guys, 17,664 watt hour energy. Now wala may panel nga 5,046 no. So let's just say ako nakita karon is pinaka dako is 700 watts. So far sa akong pag-canvas pero naman po yung mga 550. So to get your panel sizing, imo lang i-divide. Let's just say you will go with 550. So that's 5,046 divided by 550. Need mo og 9 ka panel. You will need 9 pieces of 550 watts na solar panel to generate and to run your 1 horsepower inverter aircon. So in summary guys, muna siya no ang ato ang usage. So that would be 18 hour of daily usage for 1 HP aircon. Our inverter is around 3 kilowatt, pero mas best if na kay toroidal to consider the surge. Your battery is around 368 amp hour, and for the panel that's 9 pieces, 550 watts. So only aircon nakaani guys, pero the cost for this one will be mahal siya, promise. So yeah, that's it. That's all you have. That's all you need to operate your 1 horsepower aircon on an 18-hour daily basis. Now, for the 4 horsepower aircon, you just have to multiply it by 4. So, you do the math. Mo na siya. So, dako-dako, actually, solar setup are really costly. But, ang kanindot diha is the peace of mind. You'll know you're not paying further. Even brownouts will come. You're not dependent. You're not reliant on somebody to provide you with energy. So, one main point, the peace of mind. Just consider it invaluable thing, your peace of mind. And again, this is actually excessive siyang calculation because this is an inverter aircon. Just we have to calculate it na lang based on yung power input and hours of usage. Pero in actuality, lesser lang iyahang consumption and lesser imong need because inverter man imong aircon. Pero for non-inverter aircon, mo na imong possible setup na kailangan nimo to use an aircon on an 18-hour daily basis. Okay? See you in the next one.